Hey, it's Andrew Morgan, host of the Nomcast, the Netflix original movie podcast. Each week we preview and review the biggest Netflix original movies with special guests from the film industry, the music industry, comedians, and of course our fellow critics and podcasters. The Nomcast is available on nomcastpod.com or wherever you get your podcasts, on the socials at nomcastpod, and is a part of the Forgotten Entertainment family.
Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Dave.
And join us every Thursday for a new episode of Two Player Bros, a podcast about two guys who play way too many video games. Join me and Dave as we talk about the latest in Xbox, PlayStation, PC, and VR news, previews, and reviews. We have it all, and we play it all.
And join us every other week for Post Game, where we play through and dive deep into our favorite modern classics and new releases.
That's Two Player Bros, available every Thursday wherever you get your podcast, part of the Forgotten Entertainment family.
Ladies and gentlemen, please notice that exits are conveniently located at the front and rear of this auditorium. When leaving the theater, we suggest that the exit at the front of the auditorium will allow you easier access to the parking areas. Thank you.
Nothing.
You done? Story elements, Butler. Story is a great thing. Is what we're doing. You're telling me a story.
Great story here. I'm like, oh, you're done. You're done.
He hasn't. He's still leaping, but he's not home yet. All right. They just need to do the episode before everyone dies.
Ziggy.
So when he has sex with them,
they bang.
Hi, I'm Mike Field.
I'm Mike Butler.
And you're listening to the Forgotten Cinema Podcast. Each episode, we highlight a film that, for a variety of reasons, was forgotten by audiences. Whether it's because a more popular movie was released at the same time, or the movie simply didn't catch on with an audience in its initial run. We'll discuss what we love about the movie, or perhaps don't love about it, but we always recommend you revisit it. If you enjoy our podcast, we want to hear from you. We're on Instagram and Facebook. Find us. Our podcast is available on all platforms with a backlog of 100 episodes for your listening pleasure. Nice. Oh, family. Never mind. We just came from F9. So what's going on, Butler?
Well, nothing. Why don't you come over here and ask me? Come here.
Get over here.
Come here.
What are we doing today?
We're doing The D Train from 2015. The head of a high school reunion committee tries to get the most popular guy in school to attend their class's upcoming 20-year reunion. And that's the synopsis I got.
Oh, wow. Really? That's it?
That's it. The other
That's
one
good.
was very similar, but also short.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Honestly, I didn't realize how much of a small release this film had. I don't know why. Not enough people know about this movie, but we'll get into all of that. The D Train has a runtime of 101 minutes. It's rated R. Production budget of $3 million. It came out on Friday, May 8th, 2015. Its opening weekend, it did $469,000. Domestic was $673,000. Worldwide was $774,000. So real quick, this movie was released on just over 1,000 screens in its first week, and it had the 15th worst opening for wide release films of all time.
Nice.
And in the second weekend, the movie was pulled from 847 screens. So it did not do well, but I am here to inform you that they are all incorrect. But anyways, we'll move on, because Butler and I have not talked about the film yet. The production companies were Ealing Studios, Electric Dynamite, and Ripcord Productions, and it was distributed by IFC Films. Now, I said it came out on the 8th of May, 2015. It went up against, in a wide release, Hot Pursuit. Exactly. And in a limited release, Maggie. That is the Arnold Schwarzenegger film, I believe.
Yeah, with his daughter slowly turning into a zombie.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
Is that good? I didn't see it.
It is not bad, yeah.
Okay. On the 15th of May, the week after, you had Mad Max, Fury Road.
Which is very good.
And Pitch Perfect 2. I've seen it. And in a limited release, Good Kill. That is the Ethan Hawke drone. He's the drone pilot. I didn't think. But on May 1st, 2015, you had a movie that just was going to wipe out anything else that came out that week. And that was Avengers Age of Ultron. So for all you fans out there of
Avengers, those are Marvel movies.
It is Marvel movies. Pat, it's Marvel movies. I was going to say Pat, but that's why I'm going to say Pat. Mike, if you want to head over to yet another MCU podcast.
Oh, we don't advertise other podcasts. No, we don't do that. No, I get crapped on all the time for doing that. No,
That's because you have like 20 podcasts.
No.
That's because you have 20 podcasts. Okay. This was
About
written,
to have one less.
This was written and directed by Andrew Mogul and Jared Paul. They're writing partners and working partners. They've worked on the recently more TV show Huge in France. And I believe they both wrote Yes Man, the movie that stars Jim Carrey.
Mm-hmm.
And they also have worked on the TV show The Grinder. Cinematography was Giles Nutgins or Nutchins. I don't know. Nutchins. I think Nutchins is probably better. He has worked on Swim Fan, Hell or High Water, which is an awesome film. And more recently, Enola Holmes, the Netflix movie. Composer was Andrew Dost. He has done Me, Him, Her and the TV show Liza on Demand. Edited by Terrell Gibson, who's edited Ready or Not, The Last Full Measure, and We Are Your Friends, to name a few. And you had a bunch of producers in this movie. Most indies, you're going to have a lot of producers, but the main four, which were listed on IMDb Pro, are David Bernard, who did Bad Trip and the TV show Superstore. Jack Black, obviously, who produced The Polka King, which is in, and Happily. I don't know if he's in that, but I know that Joel McHale's leading that. Peter Fruchtman has done Chef and Black Swan, to name a couple. And then Scott Lastiati. I apologize, Mr. Scott. He has done Love in a Time of Cholera and Jane Got a Gun. So Jack Black is obviously in this movie. He plays Dan Landsman. You may know him from Goosebumps, or I Still Know What You Did Last Summer,
Or A House with a Clock in Its Walls.
House with a Clock in Its Walls, which I'm a fan of. He's also in The Cable Guy. He has an uncredited role in I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, but I always like bringing it up. James Marsden.
He's also in The X-Files.
Well, that is for the compendium, Butler. James Marsden plays Oliver Lawless. He is from Hairspray, 27 Dresses, X-Men, Enchanted, and Sonic and the Hedgehog, I guess, series, because there's a couple movies coming out. Catherine Hahn as Stacey Landsman. She's obviously from the TV show WandaVision for everyone that likes to hype up people. Bad Moms and Tomorrowland. Jeffrey Tambor as Bill Shermer. The TV show Transparent, TV show Arrested Development, and the movie The Death of Stalin. I recommend that. The movie is very, very funny. It's an HBO movie. Russell Posner as Zach Landsman, the son of Dan and Stacy. He's in Skin, Light Years, and the TV show The Mist. Henry Zabrowski as Craig, who's from The Wolf of Wall Street and Dirty Grandpa. Kyle Bornheimer as Randy from the TV show Casual, the movie Marriage Story, and She's Out of My League. I believe he's the older brother of the main character in that movie.
He's also in a recurring character in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh, I don't watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but that makes sense. Mike White as Jerry. He's from Chuck and Buck, The Good Girl, and School of Rock. I believe he's formed a production company with Jack Black. They're friends, obviously. And then Dermot Mulroney's in this movie as himself. Real quickly. All right. So I'm going to, before we get into what you thought of it, I'm going to tell you that I watched this movie a while ago and I really liked the movie. But I'm watching it again. I like it even more. So I'm curious if you had any kind of, and I'm wondering if it's because of our ages, but go ahead. What do you think?
What do you think I thought of this movie?
I don't know, Butler.
This movie, the last half of this movie is all just awkward.
Really?
Uncomfortable
you know what's
comedy.
funny? It's funny you say that. It's funny you say that because there are moments and I go, oh, he's not going to like this because you don't like awkward comedy. I'm like, oh, he's not going to like this at all.
The entire last half of the movie is very uncomfortable.
But that's not fair to judge the movie based on your predilections of what you don't like.
You're asking my opinion of the movie.
You're right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
It was okay.
Really? See, I disagree. I think this movie's really,
the story
really good.
and what they're attempting to do is really interesting and really different and really sets it apart from a lot of other stuff.
Right.
However, I would never watch this movie again because I don't like awkward, uncomfortable.
Okay, well, before we go into it, because if you have not seen this movie, we're going to reveal some stuff that it's good that you don't know going in.
Oh yeah, if you'll never see it coming.
You'll never, and that's
awesome.
Exactly, that's the best thing about it. If you have not seen this movie, really stop listening to the podcast and go watch this film because we're going to ruin it for you. And it's unfortunate that we're going to ruin it for you because not knowing what happens in this movie about 40 minutes in is probably the best part about it because it takes you not by surprise, but you're just like, well, what?
Oh, absolutely.
And then it just completely turns the film and you don't, because on the face of it, it's just somebody, going to go trying to score the big score for the reunion.
It's your standard. It's almost the loser wants to be like the famous guy in high school.
It's like this formulaic thing. But then what happens 30 to 40 minutes in and it completely turns the film like, oh, shoot, that is not what this film's about. And I just appreciate it that much more. So here we go. Okay, we're going to spoil it for you. So when he has sex with him,
they bang.
So like as soon as when I first watched, so in the movie, Landsman Dan goes out to Hollywood to get Oliver, because Oliver's like he's the head of the committee. Dan's the head of this committee.
Yep, trying to do the reunion.
Right. And no one's his friend, and
no one remembers him from high school.
Yeah, but all the people that he works with don't like him.
Yeah.
Which is they suck. And it's also evident when he talks to his son, and his son's telling him about how he's got this girlfriend, his girl likes him, and he thinks that it's a scam. And he's trying to give him the advice, like, you might be trying to,
make fun of you. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's really, you get an idea of what Dan's high school was like.
Yeah.
So then he says, if I get Oliver Lowell, I'm going to get him, and then everyone will come. And so he goes out and has this plan, because he really looks up to Oliver, and he likes Oliver. And
Oliver made it out of the town. He became an actor, even though as an actor he hasn't done much. We did the one Banana Boat national commercial.
Well, that's the thing. He goes out there, and he goes and gets him, and they have a big night. They have a fun night, and you hear in the beginning, he's like, oh, there's so much girls out here. And he's like, you must get so much pussy out. And he's like, yeah, a lot of girls, guys too.
Yeah.
And he's just like, it's just like, oh, okay, whatever.
I don't like labels. And you're just like,
and you don't think of it then.
Gag. Yeah.
And you don't think of it then. And you're like, oh, okay, fine, whatever. And then they get fucked up. They have they do cocaine, they get drinking. And then as soon as they walk into his apartment, when I first watched it, and as soon as they go into Oliver's apartment, I was getting the vibe like,
oh no, there's tension. Yeah, absolutely. And the second he goes down and Marsden puts his head against the beam, it's just like,
excuse me.
And then he goes, come here.
Yeah. And I remember I sensed it, and then I'm like, oh yeah. And I was like, and then he's like, come here. I was like, yes.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
So, but it's such so it's I think it's meant to kind of like, oh, whoa, okay.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But then as when he returns home, and then everything that goes along with just kind of like his infatuation with Oliver, it's, are you mad at me? I like, he does that to him.
Yeah, it becomes.
It's very, very interesting, and I don't know. It drew me in where I was like, okay, what I need to pay. And there's a lot of stuff in second viewing that I really, really liked in this movie, in terms of some dialogue and some lines, and just kind of like, the relationship stuff that I know we can get to the awkward stuff that bugged you a little bit. And then maybe we can break down those scenes, but
they don't really bug me. I just don't like them.
But so yes. What was your initial, when they get together, which is really quick, cause it's just like a kiss, and then they cut back to a flashback, which is the funny
flashback's
flashback.
Awesome. When the flashback happened, I was like, oh, my initial reaction was just like, yes. It was basically like, oh my, they went for it. It's like you said, it's super formulaic, just doing going to find the guy in high school who peaked at high school, but you looked up to him. Tons of movies have done that. Like, what was the latest? The one with Kevin Hart and The Rock.
Oh, was that the CIA one?
Yeah.
Central Intelligence.
Yeah, that's one of. That's the latest one I can think of, but that's like one of a bajillion.
Oh no, there's tons of those. Yeah,
and that's what you think this is going to be, and then as soon as that happens, like you said, it still is about that, but it changes, like you said, their relationship. Jack Black turns from like looking up to him to having that infatuation.
Mm-hmm.
It's not so much he's in love with him so much as he doesn't know what he's feeling at that point anymore. It's a little bit of everything.
Dan is somebody who is, I say he's lost. He's lost in his life. Yeah. It's not, his wife loves him and he has a good family, but he is not happy. The friends that are with the committee don't want to hang out with him. And he tries to like put a good face on it and he smiles, but it obviously bothers him. Like we talked about, where his high school up was not probably pleasant, and he doesn't want his son to have that. And they're very open with their son about sex, and like, which just kind of like they're open about, and it might be different with guys, with boys, but it's like, they're very, they swear, they curse, they don't care. They're very open. You can tell me anything. He wants his son to be his friend. And then you get that moment when Oliver comes back to back town. Where do they live? I can't remember.
They live in Pennsylvania.
Is it Pennsylvania? Yeah. Okay. He comes home and he's like ignoring his son and stuff like that.
Yeah, because he's now infatuated with his own.
Yeah,
his own little world.
He's like I said, it's something like that moment in LA in the apartment almost was like the best thing to happen to Dan, because it shook up his kind of existence, and it shook up the fabric of himself.
I would even say, even before, they spent the night together, there was a little bit of that as well, like his partying and stuff like that, him hanging up on his wife, I gotta go by, like that had already begun,
right?
Then just the fact that they like did it,
Right.
added an extra layer to that, but it's still like just being out there and having a friend, I think, changed him.
I don't view when, when they get together and they're seeing when they, and they have sex. I don't view it like it's a sexual awakening for Dan
that's because that's the thing. It's not. It's the act is just the act. It has nothing to do with love, but it has to do with infatuation. It has to do with appreciation of somebody who likes you for you, who has a fun time with you. Like, because Oliver says to him, he's like, I haven't had a nut like this in forever. And he talks about it later on in the movie where he's like, you put me up on this pedestal. I had to perform that. I had, you make me feel good. I had to feel the part. Yeah.
Right. Which is great, which I don't know. I loved it. But I guess I want to find, well, tell me, because I don't want to start doing lines because I've got a bunch of lines here.
Well, there's a lot of lines that are good.
But let's go to the awkward stuff for you. The stuff that you really bugged you, kind of like made you squirm a little.
It's got a lot of squirmy stuff. It's not like it's bad. It's just, I didn't like it, but I'm not saying it's bad. It's just, I don't.
For those out there, Butler doesn't like awkward. I don't like
awkward comedy.
Right.
There are a lot of scenes in stuff like The Office and stuff like that where I just feel uncomfortable watching it and I don't want to be there anymore.
You're like the people watching it, but except it's not like a train wreck for you. You just want to leave it.
Exactly. People want to watch the train wreck. I'm like, I'm all right.
Right.
I mean, the entire scene in the reunion
when he yells at him.
Oh, even before he yells at him, when he's just like dejected and like drinking and looking at him, and his wife's watching Dan looking at Oliver. That's all really weird. The scene when Oliver goes out partying with Dan's reunion members, and then he comes back with the girl.
Oh, in the bedroom?
And then they have the conversation. He goes out. I'm like, don't go out. Don't go. Oh, my God. And he went out. It's just like the scene in the bathroom. They're, are you mad at me? Like, it's just like.
But that's what you want,
though. So I know. Yeah. But I'm not saying that that's bad. It's just I will never watch it again.
Come on. Why would you not watch this movie again?
The scene at the end when I actually, there are a lot of moments I do like in the scene. It's just kind of heartbreaking when Jeffrey Tambor's character, who is his boss, who was kind of completely screwed over to go to LA. Yeah. And they're talking and he's just like completely dejected about what happened.
You're talking about when he reveals to him that he made everything up. So Dan is working for this. I don't know. They do paper or they do something.
They're a firm. I think they help with like accounting and business stuff.
So they are, So in order for him to go out on this, in order for him to, I guess, concoct this lie to his wife that he's going to California on business under the guise for his job.
Right.
And he's going out there to get Oliver for the reunion, but he makes up this fake client. He makes we're going to go out there, and he figured he'd go out on his own.
Yeah.
And then Shermer is like, let's do it. Let's go.
Big client. They want to pick their firm up. He's been talking to him, and he finds the guy on a website. He's actually in California. The guy's name who he makes up. Yeah, but he's just pretending that they want to work with him.
Right, and so he doesn't expect Shermer to go with him, and then he goes out and he's just trying to we'll shut it down, and then he has. And then after he spends his night, he spends 2 nights with Oliver. The first night with Oliver, he's like, maybe your boss doesn't have to know. So so Oliver plays the character of this
Trent executive. Yeah, this executive.
And he accepts the deal. He's like, what if we take 50% off? He's like, deal. And it's just like, what?
He was so good. I couldn't say no.
I know. And then I love Jack Black. I was like, I was buying the whole out of cash argument though, So I'm like
yeah, exactly.
So then that kind of,
so Jeffrey Shermer puts a lot of money in because he never really had computers or internet.
Right.
So he spends all this money to upgrade the
Dan
firm,
plan. He calls it. Dan was begging him to do it.
Upgrade, learn computers, do all these classes. And basically then when Dan comes clean, he tells Shermer, I made it all up. I bought a plane ticket. And Shermer's like, couldn't you have just
why didn't you
buy the ticket with your own money? Yeah. In retrospect, I could.
Yeah, why didn't you just tell it and then tell your wife that it was a business trip?
But I needed to make it a business trip so that I needed to lie about it being a business trip so my wife wouldn't know. Couldn't you have just said it was a business trip and left me out of it?
Yeah.
Yep. In retrospect, I could have done that too. And he talks about, are you going to fire me? And he goes, fire you from what? I don't know if we still even have a business anymore. Like, it's like, I know Jeffrey Tambor allegedly did a lot of bad stuff on set and different sets, but like his acting in the dejected, like his scene is like, he does it so well that dejected, like he's just done.
He's very
doesn't know what to
reserved in the
do.
movie.
Yeah.
His reservedness in the film is nice because you can't have everyone at the same level.
He's also so goofy at the beginning and so like dumb about technology and all that you don't expect. You don't see that scene coming either. I don't think.
I got you.
And then it hits you. Yeah. And it's just like, damn.
Well, it's almost like he broke his heart.
Exactly. And like, you could tell it breaks Dan's heart, but it breaks your heart as the viewer seeing it like that. And it's like, shit.
Yeah. The other thing too, speaking of just kind of like the acting and the actors, is like Jack Black is somebody that when you see him in movies, he's always like flamboyant and he's always otherworldly and just kind of like. But in this one, he's very reserved. And he's very. I mean, I've seen the movie Bernie, and Bernie's he's a little bit of an eccentric in Bernie, but he's kind of like the same kind of like not stuffy character, but the same character where he's like an everyday person and kind of like, but he's taking advantage of people. Bernie, and he's a sociopath or a psychopath, whatever. But in this, he's just kind of like it's just very like plain. He's the straight man in this. Yeah, for sure. I love when they first start calling everybody. And he's like, "Hey, Dan Landsman," and he's just like, "No, I don't think I still suck."
Oh yeah. Well, I don't think that was very nice. I don't think that language is necessary.
And he's always like the whole. I mean, we'll get to the ending, but like he's trying to get his nickname.
Oh,
yeah, D Fresh,
D Money, D Fresh.
Everyone calls me that.
D Man,
D Smooth. What do you think about D Smooth? You like that? What D Nice?
Yeah. When he's coked up at the prom, what do you think? It's J Money. It's clearly just J Money.
No, it's not J Bomb. Is it
J Dog? It's J Dog.
J Dog. Of course, it's perfect.
Just it's off. It's obvious.
And then he gets jealous.
You have your whole life plan. You get the perfect life, don't you? Got it all.
And he gets jealous when Oliver of his son's nickname because Oliver calls him Z-Bone. Yeah, he's like Z-Bone.
It's just his nickname.
That's not what we call him. I'm not going to use that. He gets jealous of that. I want to talk about the scene when his son is trying to talk to him about having his girlfriend wants to have a three-way with them. And then he does, and he's trying. So his son's trying to tell him that his girlfriend is an older girl that likes him, and they want to have she wants to have a three-way with him and another girl. And he's trying to tell his father the dinner scene. The father and Landsman's ignoring him because he's trying to listen to Oliver tell a story, or he thinks that he's jealous of the attention that Oliver's giving his own wife.
And that his wife's giving out.
Right. I would think he's jealous.
No, he's he's the other way. Yeah.
So whatever, he blows him off. Fine. He leaves, and later on you feel like you need to talk to him. It's just like, oh, he's fine. And then Oliver talks like, hey, what's up, man? And he tells him, he tells him he's like, they want me to do threesome. He's like, all right, and he's like, man, how many girls have you fucked? None. Why?
Yeah,
14.
And
so then he tells him like his whole is like you stack them like lawn chairs. Stuck in that.
Just come on. Obviously, you only got one cock, so you can't fuck them both at the same time. So you stack them. Then you're at your end. You get a condom.
Yeah. No. He tells me he's like, remember, wear a condom, and then rip that
thing off. Hose down those lawn chairs.
And it's like he says that, and then at the end of the movie, did you notice how they're doing the lawn chair? And he's out there. Yeah, he's like telling his dad what Oliver told him. I was just like, oh my god. His son never goes. It doesn't happen because I guess he's not that kind of person. That's what he says.
It wasn't for him, so he gave up. He's he manned up. That was his whole thing.
But the whole thing is like it's a frank discussion, but it's not like a taboo thing. It's not like, oh my god, I shouldn't say. You know what I mean? It's just like Oliver's probably the best person for him to talk to about that because he just. He like you say, doesn't believe in labels. He doesn't care. He just
does what he does. Yeah,
that's what he does. He lives by the moment. And I don't know. I thought that scene's funny. It's got a lot of nice lines in it, and it's an interesting connection. And I think one of the things I also like is that the whole thing that we talked about in the beginning of the movie before when they get together is that it's a formulaic film. Like he's going to go out there to reach this guy, but it's also flips the formula where it's like you get the sense that they're setting up that Dan needs Oliver. And it's not. Oliver also needs Dan. You know
for sure, yeah.
And it's he says it at the end when he tells him, "You put me on this pedestal, and
my life sucks. You saw my apartment. I'm poor as shit."
And it's like, it's almost like they've become really good friends, like that. Like they will be friends beyond this. I would think.
See, I don't think so.
No, really.
I think they become really. I don't think they'll ever speak again.
I don't think. Well, you don't think they'll like exchange like text? Really?
Nope.
I don't know.
That was it. That was their. Catherine Hahn's character is not going to let him back in their life. It's not going to happen. It's just that was a thing. It happened and it's done.
Yeah. Wait, can we start over? I'm Dan Landsman. We went to high school and never had sex together.
You're wearing the same underwear as him. Why, you fucker?
Yeah, how do you know?
I did his laundry. I like how cool Oliver is about everything, though. Like you say, like he doesn't believe in labels and stuff, but he also, when Dan kicks him out, he goes, all right, I think I might have overstayed my welcome. Like he's always really cool until like he's given no choice, until Dan backs him into a corner at the reunion.
Well, he ticks him off, yeah. But then he feels bad about it. But then I love that. But see, then that moment when his buddies are like, "Oh, man,
that's one of my favorite moments in the movie." We got mileage out of we can make fun of all this.
Yeah, no, when he's leaving, and
so
he stay at,
Oliver's leaving at the other guy's house. That
Craig and he sees at Craig's and
the people
Randy's,
that like hated Dan and like wouldn't hang out with him.
The two main guys, Craig and Randy, that are part of the committee are kind of like they rip on him.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, we got mileage. We're gonna shit at him forever because of this." He goes, "Guys, bring it in. I could have fucked either one of you at any point, but I didn't. Why is that?" And then he walks away, and they're just like.
It's almost like
they're almost like sad they didn't get.
That's the thing. The looks on their faces are almost like they're like, nah. They're like, wait a minute, maybe I wanted that. Like
exactly,
you know, yeah. And then they instantly become almost jealous of that connection that he has with Dan.
They're as big a loser as Dan was.
Yeah. But Dan was somebody that has redeeming value.
That's the difference between
No, absolutely. I think if you don't have somebody who's playing Oliver. Like I like James Marsden a lot.
No, he's really good. Yeah.
So I think if you had somebody in there that can carry that kind of like LA, I don't really want to label the Oliver character as somebody that you're only gonna see in LA kind of thing.
You can't put labels on Oliver.
No, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Like
I get you.
That's the expectation.
He's got that douche beanie.
Well, he does. Yeah, I guess so. But I don't view him as a douche. Like I love the first shot of him when he's on the phone with Dan and it's a slow dolly and it's just his bag. He's like, "Hey, what's up, Daniel?" He's like, "Oh, I go by Dan now." "Yeah, no, that's cool, Dan." Yeah, like it's like this hero shot almost. Yeah, it's like it's setting him up to be like the hero of the story and for Dan.
Right.
I don't know.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, because you don't know is like, and then he goes. But you can see that he can be just as awkward and out of place as Dan. It's only when he's with Dan that he becomes this hero because he plays that part.
Right.
Because when he goes up to Dermot Mulroney,
you could tell that
can tell that he's just as doofy and awkward and unsure of himself as Dan.
But he wouldn't have done that unless Dan had pushed him to do it.
Exactly. Yeah. He would never have introduced himself.
But see, that's why I don't think they wouldn't stop talking to each other.
Because they need each other to continue to grow.
I think that's why you have people who have entourages and people who are successful as people behind them because they need people behind them to go, no, you do it. Yes, absolutely.
Right.
You know, you can do it. I believe in you. You do it. Like, I think I'm not saying that he's going to come out to LA and hang out, but I'm saying that he still might chat and text me like, "Hey, I'm going for this part. What do you think?" Like stuff like that. That's what I'm saying. Like, cause he's a friend. I don't know.
I don't know.
But you've never been friends with somebody?
Did I bang before? No.
Get over here, Butler.
Come here. I don't know how those buttons fell off my shirt. You should go yell at that store manager. This is ridiculous.
That's the best thing. Yeah. So when they get together, Oliver rips off his shirt. So all the buttons go flying and then he comes home and Catherine O'Hara's wife, Stacy, says, you know, "What happened to the buttons on your shirt?" And he like makes a big deal. Like, I can't believe he tried to like pull this thing where I can't believe they sold you a shirt without buttons.
That's ridiculous.
So at the end of the movie, when he comes back from dropping off the son from school, and she's like, "So the shirt did have buttons. What happened?" Like that was the question.
The buttons get lost?
Yeah,
Oliver tore them off.
Yeah.
So I yelled at a store manager for 10 minutes.
But like that's at that moment when she says that, I don't think that the marriage is not going to continue. You know what I mean? I never thought that they were not going to be together.
Well, I don't know. I think that's just the only thing she can talk because everything else is too upsetting. Because then he tries to explain it and she doesn't even want to. At the time he starts, she's like, "Stop.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
I can't." Like what he did was like, and her expression is like during the reunion is just what?
But do you think it's different because it was another guy and it wasn't another woman?
Oh, absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. So it's not, yes.
Because like he says, he's not gay. So
right.
It wasn't.
And she's like, but see, the real betrayal is then why were you were closer to him than you were to me kind of thing.
It's the weirdness of it. It's the obsession. It's the infatuation. It's just unhealthy and weird and off-putting and crazy.
See, I don't think it's weird. I don't think that I don't.
Not at first, but by the time like it gets to like Oliver in the house, he does get.
Oh well, no.
It gets weird and creepy.
I'm talking about them getting together. I'm sorry.
No, yeah.
But also I think
that just is the turning point where like that was once she learns that's crazy. But
that jealousy and that infatuation that you're talking about, I think that's because Dan has yet to figure out why he did what he did and what happened and just kind of like figured it all out. Yet.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I think that's where that comes in. I also like the moment where Dan is asking his son for help in front of the school. He's like, will you come home with me? And he's like, no, Dad, I gotta go to school. Come on.
His son's got a really good line at the end there because he goes, you think it was messed up? Yeah, it's pretty messed up, Dad. I got to deal with a lot of shit today and I just have to deal with it.
Yeah.
So do you.
Yep. And then his girlfriend's like, I heard what you did. It's pretty fucked up. I like it.
Yeah, I like it. Thanks. And he got like this weird smile on his face.
Yeah, because he's always trying to be somebody who's cool or not accepted, but just somebody that people like.
Right.
And he doesn't know how to do it, but it's just like, I don't know. It's a weird, it's like, is he being true to himself? I think there's a lot more after this story.
Well, you see that, he starts getting back in shape. He, sends a letter. He shuts down the reunion thing. So he's no longer obsessed with what he was like back then.
Right.
And he gets clients. He gets that one guy who was like interested in how who was just interested. Like all like, oh, that's messed up. All right. Yeah. You're interesting.
You're interesting. Yeah, absolutely. You're not a label. You're not this person. Yeah.
He always played it safe before. And like, then you say, okay, he does what he wants. He's crazy. All right.
So I talked about how I like James Marsden as Oliver. Now the script has been around for a while. Bill Hader was in talks to play Oliver in 2013. Oliver? Yeah.
I saw he was in talks to be in the movie, but I didn't think for Oliver. I figured for Dan. No.
Yeah, agreed.
No, it can't be another comedic actor.
I think if it was him, it would have been a comedy. It would have been like not a comedy, but like a broad comedy, not like this.
Absolutely. Yeah. It wouldn't be this dark comedy kind of a thing.
Yeah, like Will Ferrell would play Dan or something like that. And it would be goofy. And
it's got to be some kind of like action type star. It's got to be somebody like James Marsden or dramatic actor or something like that. It can't be a comedy guy.
No. And I think that I know this is probably like in the last like 10 to 12 weeks I've brought this up, but I like that it's a $3 million movie. I like that it's an indie film. And I think that, these chances are taken within the storytelling because of that. Like if this is a studio production, it's $40 million. I don't know if we're going to get this kind of story.
I get it. You like indie films.
I do like indie films, and you should too. Yeah. Even if they make you feel awkward.
I don't like awkward. But for sure, this is not a movie for everybody. It's not like we said, it's not formulaic. You can't do this movie with a budget. No way. But way.
But I'm tired of. But if I know this movie's not for everybody, my thing is like I wish more people knew this movie, because every time people complain about all the movies are the same, I've seen this. It's like, you have not seen this. Like this is a movie that stands out, and I think to me, I mean,
I don't think those people would want to watch this movie. I think the people that say this are just bored of movies and just wouldn't want to watch. They don't like movies.
If you love movies,
I agree.
You want to watch that stuff.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that. I'm just saying those people that are making those kind of complaints probably won't watch this movie.
Yeah, those people.
There's also a lot of double entendres in this movie. As soon as they, and they don't. What I like is they don't like wink at you in the camera. It just is there.
What about
There's only the one moment. What about Lawless? Did you get him to come? And he's like, "What? Are you sorry?" But there's a lot of like inside of you jokes. There's a lot of there's a lot of small.
I remember the inside of you one. That was him at the end,
right?
Where are the other ones?
They're just here and there. They're I
don't remember them. I do remember
they're there. The inside of you one is there. But
that's when that's when he's about to get yelled at, right? That's when Dan says that to him, either outside or inside, and then Oliver rips into him at the party reunion.
The inside thing? No, that's at the end when he does his speech.
Oh, is that at the end?
There's a little bit of Oliver inside everybody.
Oh, I didn't think that was a double entendre.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking for them, but they all seem to be there.
I mean, I guess you could be like, haha, like he said duty, like that kind of thing. But I don't think that's what I think he meant, who cares? So the movie's called The D Train, and at the end of the movie, he's writing a letter to everyone in the Facebook group about just kind of
The
like
reunion Facebook group.
Right.
Yeah.
And what I like in the movie is that, or what I like in a lot of movies is when you know that it's coming, and well, for me at least, maybe not for you, but you know that he's gonna sign off as the D Train,
Right.
and you want it to happen, like like it. Oh, he's gonna do it, and like you kind of want him to write the D Train down there. When that happens in a movie, that to me is a signal that everything that has come before it has done its job in terms of me, liking the character and wanting the character to have this successful moment in terms of growing up and getting all that stuff. Like, so, and I think that the story has done its job.
Sure.
So at the end of that movie, when he does it, I'm just like, yeah, I like that moment.
I didn't see it coming because I totally forgot the movie's called The D Train.
Wait, were you still thinking about the sex scene?
I was just watching the movie. I had totally forgotten like that it's what it was called or whatever. I wasn't in my head.
Yeah.
But then when he goes and thinks about it, when he takes the moment to pause and he goes D Train, I'm like, the thing, the thing.
The thing. I love when he gives his shirt back. It's yours. I borrowed it after you fucked me. Or when he's getting yelled at in the reunion, and he's like, "Wait, why'd the music stop?" And like everyone's listening.
Yeah. What? The DJ unfairly got overplayed. Give us the password. Fine. REUION.
You spelled reunion wrong.
Wait, the password's reunion with 3 exclamation points at the end. And I love when he's breaking it down for Shermer, and he's before he breaks down the truth, you zoom in like this, and he zooms into the picture of the real Trent CEO guy. But then he goes, and you can Google anything at any time. It's honestly the best search engine that you can use. And you can add anyone to an email chain at any point. It's so easy.
Because he was initially lying to him, not trying to get him to do things.
Google, I wouldn't trust Google. Google's not a great place to go.
Yeah.
I love that when when they're trying to book the flight to LA, Jack Black's like, let me check my phone, because Shermer's afraid of technology. He goes, oh, every flight's booked. Oh no. And he goes, I'll go and talk to my travel agent. She's going to book us a flight. She's great. And when they get on the flight, it's like, see, you shouldn't trust technology. And the plane is almost empty. And they're sitting in a whole row by themselves.
I don't think I've ever been on an empty plane.
I've not been on many planes, so I have no way to talk about that.
So you would never watch this. You would never watch this movie ever again. All the lines that you think are funny, you'd never watch it because it makes you feel awkward at the end.
There's awkward. Yeah, it's just, I don't know.
You gotta get over that, man.
Why?
I don't know. It's
I don't like
you're missing
it.
out on some
I don't
stuff.
like it.
You're not there. You're not.
It doesn't matter. I'm putting myself there, isn't it? Doesn't it say something that I'm so into those scenes, into the moment, that like I get uncomfortable as if I'm there?
You have to laugh at that uncomfortable stuff.
I can't laugh at that uncomfortable stuff. It just makes me feel uncomfortable.
So you would never see. I would show this, or not show this personally. Sit down, watch this film.
I would tell people to watch this.
That's
for
what
sure.
I'm saying.
I think people should watch this.
Yeah,
but I'm not going to go buy it and then put it in my.
What if Elise wants to watch it again?
She can watch it while I'm at work or something.
What if it's movie night and it's her choice, and she says, "I want to watch the D Train."
Movie night, please.
Well, I'm apologies. You don't have movie nights.
She's staying up for 2 hours. I don't think so.
Jeez.
Did you notice that when? And I don't know if this is on purpose or it was just like a thing, and they just didn't notice it was there. When Dan first drives by the bar, when the other reunion people are going to the bar and they cut him out.
Yeah.
He pulls up, sees them all going in, kind of sighs to himself and drives away. When his car drives away in that shot, someone behind the bar door is giving the finger outside to the outside.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I couldn't tell, like, is that supposed to be them giving the finger to Dan? Like they knew he was there, or just giving the finger to the camera, not thinking they would notice?
I didn't notice that, and I don't know, maybe. I mean, I did notice that the bar's called Thirsty Alley.
I saw that, yeah.
Like Kirsty Alley.
I thought that was pretty funny. I also like the Dunkin' Donuts he has at the beginning. It's like, Dunkin'.
Yeah, but he has Dunkin', and then he comes with a tray of meats, like lunch meats.
Yeah. With an olive.
And he's checking all the phones, and as soon as you saw him coming in and checking everything, you kind of almost knew what kind of character he was.
I think that I thought he was going to be a little bit more nerdy and a little bit more
So I'm glad he wasn't,
stodgy.
though.
Yeah, no, me neither. But it really isn't like what he is in the rest of the movie. Like, I didn't think that completely fit his character.
I didn't know where he'd get the cocaine from at the reunion.
I thought the same thing. I was like,
where'd you get that?
You're such a straight-laced dude. How do you know where to
How
get
did you
cocaine?
score that? Yeah. I mean, maybe that's a scene they cut out, but yeah, I was just wondering about that.
Maybe Oliver gave him, hey, you got some more? Oh, yeah, no, I'm just going to do it at some point. Yeah.
See, a lot of the comedy in this movie is not overt. Like there's a lot of comedy in the situation that's arising, and then the dialogues and what everyone's talking about, and kind of like the relationships. But there's no like scene where like a comedy set piece. You know what I mean? Like in a Will Ferrell film or a Kevin Hart movie where, you know, you have those, you know, specific moments where it's just set up for disaster.
Yeah, wait for the punchline.
Right, or Bridesmaids when they all get the food poisoning and they're going to go try on the dress, like that kind of stuff. There's no scenes like that. I think maybe that's another reason why I think I like this movie a lot more, being someone who writes a lot, is just all the comedy and all the humor is within the script itself and the performances and the relationships.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that maybe the threesome discussion.
But I'm talking like comedy
kind of,
but that's dialogue. I'm talking about comedy set pieces.
You're just looking for
like when he talks about how I'm going to come into the reunion, everyone's going to love me, like that stuff, and he's having an imagination,
right?
Like for instance, like let's say there's like a 15-minute scene where he goes to buy the cocaine, he's like being goofy and stuff like that, and stuff's happening, and then he ends up with one of the things, like, you know, the cops show up and he escapes, like stuff like that, like,
right?
That's
I got
not
you. Yeah.
In this movie.
No.
Which I like, which I appreciate.
Sure.
And even like his friend, his friend Jerry, J-Dog, when he comes into
not really his friend, but okay.
No, I think he is. I think
Jerry's definitely more.
He's not somebody who's going to go up against Craig and Randy, who rip on him. And he knows that Dan's not behaving right. Cause
right.
He's like,
yeah.
Oh, well, you know, he's like, oh, I'm out, guys. He's like, well, everything's already done. So, you know,
yeah.
But then at the end, when he goes into the bathroom with him, it's just like, he's not like, he's trying to tell him, hey man, come on, you know, what are you doing? Like that kind of stuff. So I think he is a friend.
Well, I think any of those guys would have done the same thing, because they're supposed to be like real people. So at that point, that's like an extreme kind of thing, like, whoa, cocaine and that's a little much.
But see, Craig and Randy, I don't think he would be friends with. I think he would just tell them to go F off.
Oh, he would have told, but I think Craig and Randy would have said the same thing. Oh, come on, Dan, let's come on back. I don't think
so. I think they would either laugh at him, like, or they'd be like, yo, give us some. Like, I don't think so.
Oh, you think they'd be latched on to, you know, Oliver, so now you're doing cocaine, so now you're cool too?
Yeah.
Okay, I can see that.
Because that's why I don't view them as being Dan's friend at all. I mean, I think Jerry is, and to the point where he cares about, like, if he sees Dan like spiraling.
Which he clearly isn't in that party.
Right. Yeah. So, you know, even like the women that are on the committee, I don't think they care. You know what I mean? I think they make fun of him, or they just.
Oh, I think they definitely don't like him. Yeah.
So, I mean, I never, if their intent was to say like, oh no, these are really his friends, well then maybe that's one thing I can agree with you in terms of, I think that movie missed the mark there, but I don't view that anyone but Jerry. I don't think he would ever talk to again. The kind of thing, you know what I mean? Like, even when like he comes to the reunion with Stacy and she introduces him, oh, you remember Dan, and to the woman,
the other girl,
and she's just like, look, and it's almost like they don't ever say it, but it's almost like everyone is always thinking like, you married him, like that kind of thing. You're with him, like, you know what I mean?
I don't think they think that, because I don't think they remember him. That's the whole point, is
that they don't remember him.
See, I don't think he was the guy that everybody got picked on and stuff like that. I just think he was the guy that no one noticed. But we talked about this line when he calls everyone at the reunion. He's like, no, I don't think I still suck. Like, there's people that are like, that's all. But I think for the most part, people don't remember him.
Well, he's not.
Because there's also people on the phone who don't remember. Goes, no, I was there. We had this class, or I was in class of something. No, I was there. Like, they just don't remember him.
So he's in high school. What kind of person? He's not a jock. He's not cool. He's not necessarily someone that's getting picked on a lot. He's just someone that nobody cares about and thinks is funny. Or goofy, the fat kid, that kind of thing.
Yeah, the fat kid in the corner.
Okay.
No one's really talking to.
Gotcha.
That's what I'm thinking.
So why do you think it was forgotten? Because
it made no money. Because
it got pulled for 1,000. I think it's got
getting pulled in the first week.
Well, here's the other thing. This isn't. You put this movie in between Avengers and Mad Max Fury Road. You're asking for a movie not to do well.
This is not a May release.
No, not at all.
This is not. I guess maybe you could say it's counter programming, but that doesn't work in May or June or July. Those are the 3 months that doesn't work.
Reunions are in usually like around November, right?
Oh, I don't know. My high school class president did not do his job right.
Well, maybe you need to get on top of that. Well, most reunions, some reunions revolve around a homecoming, which is usually like in November before Thanksgiving. So like when people come, so some reunions are there. So this movie is probably either a September, October, November release, maybe a November 1st release before the holiday films come out, or this film is like a February, March release. It's
for sure. It's not a summer release.
It's not a summer release. This movie probably would do well if it was a VOD release or if it was like a Netflix movie or something like that.
It would have done well on Netflix. It would have done well on streaming. It was probably 2015. So it's probably only a year too early.
It's not a movie that's, like I said, you anything you're going to put in between Avengers Age of Ultron, which is the sequel to the highly popular Avengers, and then Mad Max Fury Road, which everyone wanted to see because it was the return of Mad Max, the story.
Yeah.
You're basically saying we have no belief in this film. And so we'll put it here. And
I don't think they're saying that. I just don't. I think they thought it was counter programmed. Like, we got a really good, really interesting film here. And whoever was the guy who's programming these films for IFC or whatever clearly doesn't understand. Counter programming doesn't work when your movie's the Avengers. Like, it doesn't. Yeah, everyone's seeing the Avengers.
It shouldn't have been in May. May 8th is not a time for this movie.
This also should have been marketed maybe a little bit more.
Well, yeah, I don't remember how I saw this film. I don't know if I saw it in theaters. I might not have.
We had it in theaters because I remember that on the marquee for like maybe a hot. So we probably were one of the theaters that only had it a week.
Well, it's 1,000 screens. I'm sure we had it.
Yeah, because as soon as it started or as soon as I saw the poster, I was like, oh, we did have this. I do remember seeing this poster. So I vaguely recall it, but I know nothing of it.
Now you do.
So I think that maybe a little bit more marketing could have done well. It's also a dark comedy. Dark comedy is kind of weird because dark comedies usually deal with kind of darker subject matter.
I don't think I know I know that's the label it gave it, right, dark comedy, but I don't think this is a drama / comedy.
This isn't a dramedy, I guess.
Why is it a dark comedy? Because two guys had sex? Is that why you're saying it's a dark comedy?
No, more because it deals with, I guess, depression and being lost and trying to find yourself.
That's drama. Dark comedy,
but it's also a comedy.
Dark comedy would be if he murdered somebody.
No, I get it.
They're trying to hide. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, this is not a dark comedy, and that's a bad label. This film. It's
tough to like. Dramedy, I think, is a terrible.
I'm gonna tell you right now. This is labeled a dark comedy because of the two guys got together. That's why, and that's bullshit. It's a drama comedy. It's about.
I don't know, because if the two guys got together but it was a little bit more goofy, it wouldn't be a dark comedy. I think it's a comedy. It's a dark comedy because of Jack Black's obsession that comes after.
It's not
really weird.
But it's not an obsession where he turns violent or he turns like humorously murderous and stuff like that.
Exactly, it's an obsession.
It's not like a shock to the system.
It's an obsession where it gets weird. The obsession isn't the funny part.
But the obsession is not. He doesn't act on it. He just gets upset.
I get that.
I get that. I wholeheartedly disagree with calling this a dark comedy.
I know. But I also don't want to call it a dramedy. That's the thing.
I'm not saying it's a drama, and it's a drama with comedic elements. Dark comedy.
I hate that too.
Dark comedy is not the genre that this is. And you giving excuses for it is ridiculous. It's not a dark comedy.
I'm just trying to figure it out, man. I'm just trying to figure out what it is.
You're giving reasons why you think they put it as a dark comedy, and I'm telling you they're incorrect. That this is a bad classification of the movie. It is not a dark comedy. It's not like 10 Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead, or 8 Heads in a Duffel Bag, or what's the friggin' one where they go to the bachelor party and they kill the stripper with Jon Favreau, and one of them's like in a wheelchair at the end. What the hell's the name of that stupid movie?
I don't remember.
Yeah, that dumb movie. That's a dark comedy. This is nothing like that.
I don't know, man. I don't know, but I do know that those don't do well. Those don't play well in theaters. And maybe this should have gotten a little bit more love when it released on VOD or on disc and stuff like that.
It should get a little love right now because we're telling you to watch this film.
It's definitely something I think you should, although it does have these uncomfortable moments.
That's Butler's issue. That's not my issue.
It's a good movie, and it's unique. It's not formulaic. You are going to watch this movie and you will see nothing else like it afterward.
And you'll want to watch it again, even though Butler doesn't want to watch it.
You won't want to watch
Butler's predilection to not liking awkward moments in films are ruining this review for you.
I don't think that, because I'm saying that you should watch it even despite that. even despite my complete aversion to awkward moments in comedy or anything, it's still something that I'm glad I watched, and
Good.
I would absolutely recommend to people.
I'm glad that I was able to bring
like
this
you
to you.
said, if somebody said, like you said, "Oh, I'm sick of form," I would also say watch
the D
this.
Train.
But I also think they wouldn't like it because the people that say that tend to be not as into film as they say.
But
they
here's
are.
the other thing: I would get great joy if they didn't like it. Like, because I'd be like, why? Why didn't you like it? And they're like, because they got together. I go, yeah, that's right.
Is it because of the sex stuff?
That's right. You didn't like it because of that? Nice. That would bring me joy.
I love the flash of them having sex when you just see that little flashback.
What is it? When does
his
he say
face
that?
is
When does
so,
that come in the movie? I can't remember.
Did you have a good time at?
Is
like
it?
Did you have a good time in LA?
Right.
And it just flashes and he comes back.
Yeah.
And it's just he's like, he's getting it from he's Dan's the take like the catcher, and he's just like, he's not like in pain, but he's just in complete shock about what he's doing. And the facial expression.
Well, it's a different experience
it's
for him.
An awesome face.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh,
it's
then
not,
it flashes
it's
back.
not like in 6 Degrees of Separation with Will Smith when he has sex with the husband.
Yeah.
And he's telling her the story and he's like, and it was wonderful. And she's like, get out.
Yeah.
She like flips out. Anyways, I recommend this movie highly. So if you can catch it, you can rent it on Prime.
You don't have to rent it. It's free to stream.
It was rented. I had to go rent it. I didn't rent it, but it was said that you had to rent it when I checked on Roku.
Free streaming.
All right. Well, it's free streaming. Go on Prime, watch it. What? It's not. It's IFC, so they must have a deal with IFC because I'm wondering if I was thinking about Universal now. But yeah. So hopefully check it out. It's really, really good. Mike, real quickly, where can they find us?
You can find us at ForgottenCinemaPodcast.com. ForgottenEntertainment.com as we're part of the Forgotten Entertainment family. Or you can find us on the social medias at Forgotten Cinema Pod or Forgotten Cinema, depending on where you are. We post every weekday, fun little commercials every Thursday. And you can also find us wherever you're listening to podcasts. You're listening to us right now, so why don't you leave a little review ski, a little 5-star, 1-star, 2-star, whatever you think of us. The more reviews, the better. It doesn't matter. I hope they're good reviews, but whatever you want to do.
Okay. Join us next week. We're going to be going to 1998 to watch a sequel that I did not like. Well, that's okay. We're going to see U.S. Marshals, the sequel to The Fugitive, which took some of the people from The Fugitive. And I guess they're solving another case.
Some of the people took everybody but Harrison Ford.
This is true. That's why I didn't like it. That's next week. We're doing U.S. Marshals stuff. And yeah, that's all I got. I'm Mike Phil.
I'm Mike Butler.
And this has been Forgotten Cinema.
Come here. Come here.
Get over here.
Come here.
Yes.
That kiss is intense.